I guess for you, the viewer, it might be super entertaining to just watch this and be like, holy crap, I can't believe he did that. What a loser. Hey board gamers, how's it going? This is Mike Cassie with the Weirdwood Manor board game vlog episode number 1, our inaugural episode. Thank you so much for joining me. And let's start by getting to the 2 questions that are already in your head. Who the heck am I? Who is Mike Cassie? And why are you listening to me? And what is Weirdwood? All right, well, let's start with the first question. Who is Mike Cassie? Actually, a better question might be, who was Mike Cassie? So I was, for a long time, a digital designer and a UX UI designer, working on computers, making digital products, making things look pretty. It was kind of a cool career, but I was getting near the end of that career. And I was a painter, like an artist painter, not a house painter. And I was also an architect for a lot of years, designing houses and buildings, though I didn't design this house. This is where I live. And lastly, and most importantly, I was and still am a lover of board games. So that brings us to what I am now. Well, what I am now is a board game designer. And in fact, I'm on my way to becoming a famous board game designer. Well, maybe not, but we'll see how this goes. I love board games, play them all the time, collect a bunch of them, and I actually started designing board games as a hobby about 5 years ago when my family and I moved to France for a year, because hey, why not? While living in France, I had some spare time. I designed a game, I took it to some conferences there, taught it to people, in French, played the game, and it was super awesome. And from that point, I kept designing board games as a hobbyist designer. So super cool. I mentioned a thing called Weirdwood. So what is Weirdwood? Well, Weirdwood's a hit game on the App Store, developed for kids by a company called Wasabi Entertainment. It's a wondrous game filled with magic, adventure, and stalwart companions journeying together in their quest to defeat evil. It was such a great game that now it's also become a book series, telling many more adventures in the Weirdwood universe. In fact, it's such a rich world that I feel it has many stories yet to share with people in a variety of ways, and hopefully one of those will be this board game. How did I hook up with Weirdwood? Well, on this little island I live on, which is about 10,000 people, I went to this meetup once where different creative people get together and talk about what they're doing, and lo and behold, I met this fellow at this meetup whose name was Paul Pattison. He and I started to talk about what we did for a living, and I told him I was a UX, UI, digital product designer, but what I really wanted to do was design board games. And instead of kind of laughing it off and kind of looking at me weirdly or thinking that was quirky or peculiar, he instead said, wow, that's pretty cool. I've got a company and we've been thinking about making a board game. And he basically said, do you want to help us? Yeah, of course I want to make a board game for you. Over the course of many months of discussions and things, we finally got to the point where we formalized it. And he hired me to help his company make a board game. You might be thinking, wow, that is amazing. It seems like a fairy tale, and I couldn't agree with you more. I wanted to make a board game, I wanted to design one, and suddenly I'm being paid to do it. This will be the interesting part of this process. There are things that are gonna happen that I feel super confident about. I know how to run a project, I feel like I know how to manage people, and I've done hobbyist game design now for about 5 years, but I've never published one, so there's definitely gonna be things I miss on that front. And I guess the telling thing is I don't know what those things are gonna be, but when I find out what they are, I'll share it with you, and I'm sure it'll be entertaining or something. In fact, some of these things I don't know about going down this road of this project. Some things that are new to me is what I'm doing right here, talking to you. I mean, it's not comfortable talking to you guys. Not that I don't like you. You're each like super awesome, I know that. But being in front of this little camera thing here and talking to you is totally weird. In fact, even my space here where I work, my studio, has been transformed. It used to be a space where I would just work at my big computer, and that was about the extent of it, or sometimes pick up my guitar and still dream about being a rock star. And now suddenly I've got these lights, I've got these camera mounts, this boom, and I'm trying to film this stuff. It's totally weird. I guess this is the first step on to becoming, I don't know what, Tom Vassell meets Jamie Stegmaier? I'm not certain if that's a good combination or not. I hope I haven't offended either one of them in suggesting that. Which brings us to why I'm right here talking to you, making this video. Let's start with answer number 1. When I used to basically dream of being a board game designer and play board games all the time and think about the world, I loved basically watching other video series, listening to podcasts, reading blogs, anything that kind of told me more about board games and how they worked and the creative process and how they were manufactured and how people play tested them. And all that kind of stuff was super fascinating and really interesting as someone who just enjoyed games but also thought about maybe designing them. There was a part of me that thought, hey, if I get a chance to do this, maybe I should share this with people, share this with you. The other reasons were that I kind of wanted to sort of give back to the community as well. You know, I was cognizant of the fact that when I read, say, for example, Jamie Stegmaier's blog, which has tons of great information, or Jay Matthews' blog, I always was kind of impressed with the fact that they would take time out of their lives to basically share this information for no cost to them, or for no gain for themselves. They just love to share information. And so the idea that I could share stuff and maybe help people out there was really appealing. And I guess this kind of leads to the third kind of part of this, is that I think in doing this, you, the viewer, will hopefully learn lots of cool things. But I also think what's going to happen is, you know, I'm going to screw up lots of times. Oh, crap. Well, I mean, maybe not too many times, hopefully. Fingers crossed. But I'm definitely going to screw up. I'm going to make mistakes as I learn how to do things and we figure out how to kind of make this project become a reality. And so I guess for you, the viewer, it might be super entertaining to just watch this and be like, holy crap, I can't believe he did that. What a loser. Or whatever might happen. So it might just be entertaining, but you also might learn things along the way that will help you not make the same mistakes if you ever get the chance to make a board game as well. And then lastly, I don't know, maybe this will be kind of inspirational. Maybe this will be kind of a kick in the pants for people to look at this and say, hey, if Mike could do it, so could I. Okay, so that's where we're at. I've got an opportunity to make a board game that materialized out of like the vapor as if I dreamt it and suddenly my dream was real. I've got a team to do it with. The people behind Weirdwood, Paul Patterson, who owns the company. There's a lot of other great people you're going to get to meet through this process. And now we're starting down that road. And the plan here is that we're going to film the entire project. That's right. So you're watching this first video. The plan is to kind of roll these videos out on a timely fashion and follow it from today, when I'm talking to you, to a final time when basically, hopefully, some of you are holding in your hands the board game that I've created and basically shipped to the world. Okay, well, thanks for listening to me ramble. Future episodes, we're gonna be a lot more hands-on with a lot of things and showing you a lot of interesting things. So I really hope you guys will come back and follow us. And if you like what we're trying to do, please subscribe and like the videos. We really appreciate it. And yeah, I really hope you guys stick with me. I think it's gonna be an interesting journey. We'll follow this path together and see where it takes us. Where the hell is the path? Oh, I think I'm lost.